Assalamu alaikum, family. You're tuned into the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talks, and I am your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I hope you got your coffee, your chai, your tea. We spend so much time talking about concepts and issues, and today I just want to talk about faith and send light and love to those of us that are struggling through darkness or going through periods of anger or sadness or disappointment. So be a friend and tell a friend. And we'll be right back on the other side of a few short commercials and a beautiful prayer.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum, family. You're tuned into the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad YouTube channel. And, I know we've been talking about all these topics and we've been doing this for months. And today, I just want to talk about and shed some bright light on some dark energy that just seems to be floating around, permeating around, um, causing people to lose their faith. There's a lot of people feeling unloved, a lot of people feeling lonely, a lot of people feeling defeated, a lot of people feeling hopeless, a lot of people that are grieving, people feeling unloved. Some people are angry and they're just mean and unkind. And usually that comes from a space, some form of trauma that's been experienced. So I want to take this morning and talk about faith, love, answer any questions or any comments you want to say about it, just how you've been feeling, what's in your heart. A lot of us are afraid. A lot of us are worried. This enemy is in attack mode, and we have to armor up with our faith and our work. Because remember, just because we meditate and pray don't mean that we don't work and strategize. We will be the winners in the end. But sometimes it helps if we can come together and strengthen one another. So what I want to do is take this morning for about a minute, and we are going to just meditate. I want us to just sit in silence. And I don't want you to name what you're sitting with. Because sometimes people say, I'm going to just go and sit with Allah. And then as soon as you give it that name, then all of the limitations and trauma that you've experienced that you think in your mind is in the name of Allah come with you when you sit. If you say, I'm going to sit with God, I'm going to sit with Jesus, same thing. But I want you to think of it like this. There's really no such thing as human life. It's just divine life. We are all clones of Almighty God Allah. We are clones. There's a piece of God within each and every one of us. And so I want us to think about right now as we go into this meditation that we are just going to sit with ourselves. And sitting with ourselves may mean our angry self, our lonely self, this part of ourself that's feeling unloved, the sad self, the defeated self. And before we go into this, I want to also say to us that no matter what we are facing, if we are facing it, we have the ability to overcome it. When God gives us something that we have to face, He's already given us the answer. We just have to figure out who we need to be in order to access the answer. So I want us to take a moment as we come into the room and get prepared and get comfortable, because we're going to just sit with ourselves. This is something that I've been doing since I was a child. I didn't have a name for it. I didn't know what it meant. I would just feel things and just go and sit with myself. I didn't have all this language around it. And sometimes the naming and the language brings limitations, or it brings controversy. I was talking to somebody the other day. I had a client and we were talking about her meditating. And she was saying that when I meditate and think about sitting with God, I think about all the things that happened to me in the church. And I said, well, let's sit with ourselves. Let's sit with the God within. Let's acknowledge the God within and sit with that. Whatever comes with that, let's sit with that. And so I want us to take a moment and get ready, get prepared. I'm going to put on a little like underground background music, if you will. And for about a minute, I just want us to sit. So we got to learn how to turn off the TV, turn off the shows, turn off the movies, shut down the laptop, turn off the music, whether it's jazz music or Shakespeare, or whether it's Shakespeare classical, or house music or rock music. Shut it down. And let's see what the God within desires to communicate with us at this point in time. So let's do that this morning. And I want you all to be active in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling. I just want to know how you're doing. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling unloved, if you're excited, if you're jubilant, if you're hopeful. There's nothing wrong with all these different things that you may be feeling and all of these different emotions. If you're trying to be right in this world that we live in today, you're going to experience some controversial feelings and you're going to have some controversial moments. And that's okay. So no specific topic this morning. Let's just sit. All right. And there's some tonal music that oftentimes when I was saying that, a bird just came and looked in the window and he's just sitting there, or she's just sitting there. I like to kind of create tones and energy and put myself in a certain state or space. And so we're going to play that music and we're going to go, I don't know, a minute or two. But I want you to begin by closing your eyes. You're going to take just a deep breath. Interesting thing about taking that deep breath, and this is how I want you to do it. I want you to close your eyes. And so even though you're closing your outer eyes, I want you to open your inner self. Open yourself to yourself. Don't ask for anything. Don't prep yourself for anything. Don't want anything. Just be. See if you can do that. Just be. And when you take this deep breath, I want you to take it with your mouth closed, but as if your mouth is open. So it's going to sound something like this. And you're going to let it out through your nose. So it's going to appear that you're doing this and letting it out through your nose, but you're really doing it with your mouth closed. And this is just going to reset your body. One more time. And one more time for good measure. And just sit. Sit with yourself. I want you to relax. Relax your feet. Take the tension out of your toes. Take the tension out of your ankles. You can move them and wiggle them just to release some of that energy that's there, that's trapped there. Take the tension out of your legs. They don't have to be stiff. Relax your buttock area. Don't squeeze. Relax your stomach. Just let it flop. Relax your back, your chest, your shoulders. Relax your neck. Let your head just kind of float there. Relax your jawline. Don't try to hold it closed or open. Just let it be. Relax the muscles in your face, your eyes, and open yourself to yourself. Acknowledge your loneliness. Breathe into it. Acknowledge your sadness. Breathe into it. Acknowledge your anger. Breathe into it. Acknowledge your fears. Just let them be there. Don't deal with it. Don't talk about it. Just let it sit. What are you afraid of? What are you worried about? Just sit there with it. And just let all of that feeling just float and swirl. You may feel it in your chest. You may feel it in your neck and your head. But you feel that energy swinging like a pendulum inside of you. You are light, rise with the light, rise with the light. I want you to think about what love feels like. But I want you to think about it in context with the emotions that you're feeling. So if you're feeling fear rising up, I want you to embrace that fear and see if you can replace it with love. What does that love feel like? It feels like the absence of fear. What does that insecurity feel like? And how do you attach love to that insecurity? It feels like security. What does that anger that's bubbling up inside of you feel like when you transition it to love? It feels softer. It feels less tense. You feel more open. Acknowledge that pain in your shoulders. And just breathe into it. That tension in the back of your neck. As you let that breath out, just breathe into your neck. If there's a person or a situation that is popping up into your mind, don't speak. Just let it be and just breathe into it. I want you to take a moment to realize that you are literally a clone of the Creator. There's a piece of source energy, of God, of Creator, whatever label you give it, of Allah, inside of each and every one of us. And so into this phase of the meditation, I want you to make a statement to yourself, to the God within. The God within, that's that piece of you that is from the source. Make a statement. And I want this statement to be, show me how to be what you imagined. And just breathe into the imagination of God. The imagination or the intention of source energy. The imagination or intention of Jesus. The imagination or intention of Buddha or Allah. Whatever you need to get you there. I found that without naming, you can keep the ego out of it. So I'll conceptualize, but just breathe. What did you imagine when you showed up in this body that I occupy? There's so much love there. So much love there for us. And we have to learn to tap into it. So breathe into that love. If you're crying, if there are tears rolling down your eyes, it's okay. Down your face, it's okay. Just let it go. If you've lost someone recently, someone may have lost a friend. Not that they expired, but they just left you. You may have lost a husband or a wife. You may find yourself being separated, isolated. Somebody might just be being mean to you and you don't understand why. Just breathe into it and allow. So we're going to take 3 of those deep breaths we took at the beginning of the meditation. And we're going to slowly begin to bring ourselves back to this present dimension. So deep breath. Make it deep though. Make it so deep that it moves your body. One more. And I want you to slowly open your eyes and smile. Not at me, but at yourself. For connecting with yourself, for loving yourself. There's so many times in life where we're praying, we're going through our rituals, we're doing what it is that we believe that we're supposed to do, but we lose belief and sight and connection with the sovereignty that exists within us. And I'm using all these terms and this language because I want to shake us up a little bit. The key thing that I found when I am, connecting with energy or dancing through energy is that the less I practice ownership, the more connected and deeper I can go. So if I see an energy that I think is my father, instead of saying, oh, my father, owning it, I just let it be there. And I may say, how can I be of assistance? What can I do? Sometimes people don't want to hear you say that to them physically. So if I'm talking to somebody and they are dark or negative, I may not spend too much time talking because I don't want to participate in the darkness or the negativity with them. But I will say silently to the darkness or negativity, there is light here. See, because, wow, when you hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I should have brought that clip with me. When you hear him explaining darkness, and when he explains the difference between the darkness of the womb that Allah created himself in versus the darkness that we experience now. So that darkness, or this darkness that we experience at night, is just the absence of light, right? So as the earth and the part of the earth that we are on turns away from the sun, we're away from the light, and so it gets dark, and so that is the absence of light. But that darkness of the womb, that darkness of that we call triple darkness, is not the absence of light. It is a rich substance that produces growth, that really has no ego in essence. Ooh, sorry about that, y'all. That has no ego in essence. Because you can't own that space. That space is so rich and so deep, you just exist in that space and allow that source energy to form you. It's like a baby in the womb, just being formed. And so sometimes when we're around that darkness that comes from other people, it's really just the absence of light. And so by shining light on that darkness, whether you do it here mentally, which is just as powerful as saying it, sometimes even more powerful, or whether you just wish them goodness and light. You can do that silently and then go away or get off the phone or whatever your connection with them is. Um, it helps you to reproduce the light that is inside of you so that their darkness doesn't overtake you. But it also, inshallah, will help them to access some glimmer of light and hope. One of the things that we got to work on as spiritual people, we we have access to so much information, right? So many good movies, so many good songs, so much of this or that. But I want you to remember that all of that stuff that you're watching and nursing on is programming you. It's programming your subconscious mind that you're going to see later, either through what you manifest or how you feel or how the cells in your body respond to that subconscious programming. And so, working to access healing, sitting with plants, sitting with trees, acknowledging the sun, sitting silently with yourself and just talking to yourself about how much you love yourself is going to go a long way towards that healing process. Now, some people say, well, I don't care about that. That doesn't work. Then that's fine. Do what works for you. I'm never one to try to convince anyone, but if you come to work with me and this has been the case in my life, I think I started acknowledging this technique of understanding the power of love as a very young Muslim. Some of you know that for many, many years, I taught MGT and GCC orientation class at a little bit in Mosque number 74 and developed some manuals. And then for the longer part of it at Mosque number 2 here in Chicago. And the blessing that I have is that you all bless me every day because I still see you striving and having faith. It really makes me emotional. I'm fighting back tears right now because I saw you when you were seeking the light. I saw you when you were looking for love. And my mission was to find a way to say something, to do something that connected you with how much God loves you. And any of those sisters will tell you that that was always my theme. Because I've been in love with Allah my whole life. I remember one day I was blessed to have a conversation with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I think I may have told you all this story. I was complaining about something, and he was teaching me on, or guiding me on, and teaching me about disappointment and how not to allow yourself to be disappointed. And I just kind of kept, well, I don't understand, and da-da-da. And he said, oh, daughter, it's because you're in love. And that hit me because that's what I wanted, and I still want, for every sister that I met, that I was teaching in those classes. That's what I want for every coaching client that I have, I want you to have that intoxication of love that fuels you and gives you a purpose beyond your intellectual capacity. That space of love that brings the energy of revelation through your skin. That type of love that brings that energy to you to where you desire to take care of your body, to eat right, to love yourself, to be kind, and to be sweet to yourself. See, a lot of us we say, oh yeah, I am that. I am that. But our cells in our body are not responding, and we don't look like we love ourselves. You don't see that energy of love coming from us. And this is why I caution my clients about too much television, too much random things on the internet, too many movies that are coated with darkness and negativity and a lot of sexual demonic stuff. I caution us against that. Now, certainly we all love a good movie. There's nothing wrong with that. But you should not be nursing on that 24 hours a day. We all have to pull back and get away from that programming. See, the brain needs stimuli, okay? Here's an interesting thing about the brain. Let me just go bigger picture, because I don't want you guys to think that I'm the Aletha uses this term fun police. I'm not that. But I'm about programming. It's just like I program my algorithms to give me certain things when I turn on my internet and not give me things that I don't want. We have to do the same thing with our brain. But let's go big picture on this for a minute. The brain needs certain aspects of stability in order for it to feel the freedom to grow. Okay? It's just like if you have a rose bush. If you prune the rose bush, you're letting the rose bush know we're growing flowers. We're not just trying to get big, we're also growing flowers. You're pruning off those dead flowers so new buds can come and flower and produce the fruit of a flower. So with our brain, there's a certain stability that we need. Think about a child. A child needs a certain stable environment, whether it's a routine, a stable home, certain things that are stable, because that stability sends a signal to the brain that it's okay to grow. That stability sends a signal to the brain that says, you don't have to over focus on survival. You can focus on growth and development, because this protection, this safety, this is here. Okay. But you don't want to become so routine that the new stimuli that your brain and your body is craving, it never gets. Okay. So if you do the same thing over and over again, every day, day after day, day after day, versus if you learn to say, you know what, today I'll go outside. I'm even a proponent of sleeping in different spaces in your house if you have that ability to do so. You know what, today I'll sleep over here because there's certain stimuli over here. Today I'll read this because there's certain stimuli associated with this. Today I'll eat that because there's a certain energy associated with that vegetable, and tomorrow I'll do something else. You know, finding ways to play around with your mind and your brain so that you get different stimuli. And it'll also, or different results. So you get different stimuli, but then it gives you different results. Some of us can play around with food and know different things about our body. Oh, I know if I eat that, I'm going to be bloated. But I know if I eat this, it's going to adjust me. See, this is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that our kitchen is our pharmacy. So we learn how to eat different things and eat in season so that it helps to strengthen us, right? And when you travel, this is the interesting thing about the US and Europe. The standard of beauty, especially for women, but even now for men, is there's a certain weight, there's a certain body shape, there's a certain look. But then you may go to other parts of the world, and based on the way that you are now, that maybe nobody else likes, maybe somebody else calls you fat, says you chunky, says, oh, you know, your shape is messed up, they might be chasing you down the street. I remember being in Africa, and no matter where I was, the number of people that thought that I was so amazingly beautiful was almost overwhelming. And I remember having a conversation about it, and I said, you know, what do you all see when you say, oh, this person's beautiful or that person's beautiful? And all the things that they named are all the things that in the Western world, we would say that's not good. Even the things that they name that they notice that we don't notice, I call it the spirit of revelation that's in your face. When you're praying and connecting to the universe, it gives you a certain energy that comes into your body that makes your cells vibrate in a certain way. And you see it in the skin. You'll see it in the different, complexion of your skin. And I was around people in Africa that could see that. And I just thought that was powerful because I said, we don't regularly see that here in America. We just think, oh, that person looks cute or they don't. And so we're insulting to ourselves and insulting to one another because we're holding one another to a standard of beauty that has nothing to do with the beauty of our heart or the beauty of our connection to the universe. And so that is throwing us off. It's throwing us off. And so the way to get back to that is to take some time out of your routine and sit with yourself like we just did at the beginning of the show. Take a moment, back away from the television, back away from whatever it is that you do consistently. I don't care if it's gaming, if you just sit there and you're playing, Call of Duty all day, 24 hours a day, back up for a minute. If you're just constantly scrolling all day, if you're just watching programs all the time, movie after, back up for a minute. Just back up and give your central nervous system some new stimuli. Do something different. Go get a massage. Move some energy around. Go sit and talk with a friend, person to person, and exchange that energy between you and the friend, face to face, that love. Some of us are so isolated and so afraid and so distrustful that we can't even think of the last time that we sat down in a loving space with somebody. Go have coffee with somebody that you like. Sit with them outside in a park and let that energy just flow between you. Give yourself some new stimuli. When's the last time you gave somebody a hug and felt that energy come from somebody else, that human touch? When's the last time you sat across from someone that you said, man, I just really love talking to this person. I really love engaging in amazing conversation with this person. See, the phone, the computer, the television, that can't replace the healthiness of tribal relationships, interpersonal relationships. Look, let me tell you, drive to an area, park your car, and walk maybe through shops. Smile with somebody. You don't got to know them. Just say, how are you? I like your suit or whatever. And just maybe you'll meet somebody. But it's important in our lives that we begin to have and cultivate supportive and loving relationships that we can interact with, because that is going to change the way our central nervous system, our cellular structure vibrates. And that vibration is a healing. It's loving. Every time you sit with somebody, it's not about what they can do for you, how much money you can make from them, who they are. Stop breaking folks down to where you judge every aspect of them. Just take what Allah gave you that's good from them and keep it moving. Why not? What does it cost you to love someone if you really legitimately have no expectation? And I'm going to say this last thing before we go. I want you guys to stop. See, we live in this capitalist, money-driven world. And so our relationship oftentimes with God is very transactional. It's always about what you do for me and how you doing, how you take care of me, and it's me, 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 me. It's very transactional. But what about just be with God? Because guess what? It doesn't cost God anything to bless you. It doesn't cost God anything. Anything you want, just a wink and a nod, and it can change over. Your situation can change overnight. But we are missing that rich healing and love from God because our relationship with Him is transactional. I listen to these new AI songs. God don't play about me. Okay, that's good. But that's a given. You wouldn't be here if God played about you. It's a transactional way of worshiping. So then when we come to prayer, it's either from a space of lack, but it's often always the energy of a transaction. Why not just sit with God and just marvel in the beauty that is God? Let me just sit and feel your love. Let me just sit and be grateful for how beautiful the birds are. And let me just look at this greenery and all these different shades, and look at how the trees are all trying to get my attention, and look at all this beauty that you made. Why not sit and marvel? And not always in a transaction. See, because the transaction is a given. And the fact that we're always transactional with God means that we're coming from a space of lack. Because we started off thinking that he wouldn't be there for us. So instead of always I'm gonna keep repeating this, the transaction, what about the way you love me? And sit and marvel in that. How many times have you been saved? Not as a transaction that you were aware of, but how many times have things happened that you didn't know nothing about? But let's adjust the stimuli. I know I'm all over the place, but these are just how the downloads are coming to me after the meditation. Is reducing the transactional nature of our relationship with God. I'm getting that really heavy. And then I'm also getting reprogram your central nervous system, back up off of our devices, our phones, our television, and just sit with God, walk with God. Go somewhere and just walk along the water, walk along the greenery, walk on the sidewalk and just look. Look at how the sidewalk comes together. Look at how the trees bend up towards each other and kind of create sort of like this umbrella or this cake. Just look and marvel. I feel Allah saying, enjoy me. Sit with me. Love me. Not me based on a transaction. But me based on who I am. That's just what I was getting in it. I'm sorry it took me a while to get it out, but I hope this helped some of us today. God Cage says, ASA, thank you for this. May I ask how much your business consulting services are? Walaikum salam, God Cage. Let me put my email address in the chat. Thank you for the star and the donation. I'm gonna put this in here. Because the way the business consultations work, if you just need a certain number of sessions and there's something specific that you want to do, then it's $350 per session. That session is about an hour and a half. And for first-time customers, I give you a free session when you book one. Need to hit enter. There we go. That's my email address. For others, you have bigger things you're trying to put together. You want me to come in as an advisor, like on a board, or to actually build your entire business. That's a different fee. But if you just want a coaching and consulting service where we sit for an hour and a half, thank you so much, Mrs. Phoenix. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you all want us to do more. I've been toying with this. Let me finish answering you, God Cage. So send me an email. Tell me what you're interested in doing. If you just say, hey, I just want to start off with a couple of sessions, then it's $350. You buy one, I'll give you one for free. Okay. That's a bargain basement price. Okay. Mrs. Phoenix, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate you. Thank you for the stars. Thank you. Thank you. Let me ask you this, and this is something that I actually have been shy about doing, but so many people have asked me over the years, because people that book me to do, I call them like recalibration and retransformation. Some of my friends will say, no, that's an exorcism. Depends on how rough we got to get based on what you got going on inside of you. But how many of you would enjoy, I've been playing around either with an app or either just having like 1 day a week where we do this, where we just sit and meditate and practice that together. And I've been shy about it. And here's why. And this is me being vulnerable about an insecurity. Because in the business world is so shady and so hardcore that oftentimes when you show signs of high spirituality, um, people think that, you don't know what you're doing when it comes to business. And something that I'm getting to the point at, and I think I'm just about there, and that is that I've accomplished so much in the business world. And a lot of it was a result of the spirituality and the high spirituality and what I bring. And my spirituality is not separate from myself. So I believe in closing the gap between what we call spirituality and ourselves. Okay, because there's no such thing as human life. It's just divine life. But if you let me know in the chat if you would enjoy, I don't know, a weekly or a daily, because we can meditate every day together. I just got to figure out where we want to do it and how we want to do it. I was thinking of doing these meditations at Sajdah House. The thing is that I like doing them early in the morning to set and calibrate our day. But if you guys like it and you want to do it, I'll just figure out how to do more of it. And then later we'll figure out the regular location of it. Arthur James Stewart Jr. said, peace and love be always present. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Who else we got here? Uh-oh, I just messed that up. Mrs. Phoenix, thank you, thank you, thank you for the donation. God Cage, thank you. Marilyn Rouser, walaikum salam, says walaikum salam and thank you. And I see my girl dress code in the house. Walaikum salam. I see my sis Amina Hanan in the house. Walaikum salam. Brother Lamont Garrison. Brother Lamont is one of my super supporters. I really, really appreciate you, Brother Lamont. Thank you, thank you. And there's a lot of y'all out here, but y'all not okay. I get it. It was a quiet type of class, but let me know. I'll do something where maybe we'll start doing. We could do Monday morning meditation, motivation type of thing, just to get our week started and start off doing it on Mondays if y'all like this. But today, my spirit and my energy just said, no conversation, no topic. And I actually felt cheap, but I felt it necessary to talk about those topics because so much happens in pop culture that sometimes we don't know how to judge. And so we end up judging it based on how much money a person has or how much apparent success the person looks like they have. But what I wanted to do with the Jay-Z Target Super Masterclass was to teach us how to think through business concepts. And what I wanted to do with the Oprah Winfrey, Whitney Houston situation was to teach us our responsibility or remind us of our responsibility towards one another when it comes to just sharing and oversharing and talking too much about something that's supposed to be private. See, if you can't keep a secret, do you know you can't be a Muslim? And a Muslim is simply one who submits to the will of Allah. You know that? Do you know that if people cannot find confidence in you, it says a lot about your faith? See, there are people that come to me and talk to me about things, and I don't even hint at the conversation. I don't even say to nobody that I know, love, or anything about the conversation. Because, now I'm not one of these persons that I don't go overboard with that. You know what I mean? Like if when I say overboard with it, I mean like if you are engaging in a conversation with me, I'm going to have a real conversation with you. I'm not going to be afraid to have a conversation with you because I'm thinking that you just want to be quiet or private. Don't come to me if you don't want to have a real conversation. I'm going to ask you some real questions. But I will say you don't have to worry about that conversation going anywhere once we have it. Reginald Muhammad says, Assalamu alaikum. I love it. Would love to join. Okay, praise be to Allah. God Cage says, can we do a master class on Brother Nipsey's business model? That would be cool. That would be cool. I've actually done some reading on Brother Nipsey's business model. Let me brush up on it because it was when he first passed that I kind of started studying it a little bit. I have not touched it since, but at the time I was following him and listening to his music pretty regularly and studying. I actually may even have some notes on it. So that would be fun. Okay. So we're still going to go down our course, you all. I'm not going to forget us when it comes to our art and science of business, because we need those tools in order to move forward and do what it is that we showed up on the planet to do. But I also think that we need a little bit more reconnection and touch and base with Allah. And so let's do some meditation and some prayer, and let's figure out when we want to do it. Let's do the first one Monday morning and see how it goes. If you all come and you join, then I don't mind. I'll keep doing it. Okay, family. Love you all. Peace and blessings. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining today. I'm grateful for the donations, grateful for your support. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Y'all see that right there. Like and subscribe. Be a friend. Tell a friend. If you don't have your commemorative Elijah coin, I'm going to tell you again, go out and get it. If you haven't, go to the site and get it registered. We got some things we're working on. We need your continued support. And we'll be back out to talk a little bit more about that stuff soon. All right, family. Most important thing is that you love yourself and that you're kind and loving to somebody else. And make sure that you accept your own and be yourself. Okay? Remember, it's not personal, it's vibrational. And we'll see you all, inshallah, Monday morning for a Monday morning meditation. All right. Assalamu alaikum.